I'm Keith Sherman. I was Vice President of Administration for 2010, and with the help of some able leadership on our committees, we were able to complete our 6 goals for the year. The first was to complete the master plan for Camp Durant under the leadership of Tom Church, where we were able to raise the funds for the chapel and the Sullivan Training Center and get construction underway for completion by summer camp 2011, and we have planned the Nature Lodge and await funding for that. The second goal was to complete Camp Campbell, which was done under the leadership of Cliff Rogers. Really from beginning to end, Cliff raised the money, oversaw the construction, and completed the project as planned this year. Third item was under the leadership of Stacy Dickerson. Our Asset Management Committee developed a plan to market Camp Durant to outside nonprofits and other government agencies to raise money for our budget in 2011. We expect to raise approximately $30,000 to that end. The fourth goal under the leadership of Frank Castillo was to assess the insurance policies and the risk of the council. Frank completed a safety assessment of the headquarters building, and we reviewed and renewed our policies. The fifth plan was under Jim Spratley's leadership to complete the maintenance of the assets at Camp Durant, and we were able to complete all maintenance under budget and on time. And finally, under the leadership of Rod Frankel, we have begun the long-range planning effort, where Rod has recruited an excellent steering committee, and that work has just begun and should be completed this year. It's been a pleasure serving as your Vice President of Administration, and I look forward to another great year with the Occoneechee Council. Thank you.
Good evening. 2010 Scouting Centennial Anniversary. No matter how you say it, last year was a celebration of 100 years of scouting in the United States. Here in Occoneechee Council, numerous events were held to celebrate our history, to provide fun learning experiences for our youth, and to highlight scouting's values and impact to the public. We started our celebration with a report to the governor on February 7th and 8th. 88 of the 100 North Carolina counties were represented by a scout and his family. The Order of the Air acted as our tour guides and led the processional down Fayetteville Street. Scouts toured the state capitol, legislature, Supreme Court, and everyone had a chance to visit with Governor Perdue and First Gentleman Bob Eves. Governor Perdue was scheduled for just a few minutes, but waived off her security to stay with us through the afternoon. We committed 100,000 service hours to the governor as part of the celebration. National Endowment Art Tour and the grand opening of the 100th anniversary exhibit at the North Carolina Museum of History was held on April 20th. Raleigh was honored to be one of 10 cities hosting a traveling exhibit that included 8 Norman Rockwell original artworks. The exhibit also included a set of classic scouting images by Joseph Satari. In conjunction with these works, there was a display of scouting's history in North Carolina. The North Carolina Youth Jamboree, sponsored by North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina, was held at the State Fairgrounds on April 24th. Over 50 units, along with Girl Scouts, Boys and Girls Clubs, the YMCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and the Shelton Leadership Center, participated in the all-day event. Attendance of over 400 enjoyed demonstrations from all the participating organizations, along with area fire, police, and rescue agencies. Various leadership activities were presented by General Hugh Shelton's Leadership Center. Every 4 years, the National Scout Jamboree is the largest gathering of scouts in the United States. 2010 saw 43,434 participate in the 10-day event, and from our council, we had a contingent of 9 troops comprised of 324 youth and 36 adults. Additionally, over 100 members of our council provided support to the event as staff members. And as part of the National Scout Jamboree, Occoneechee Council was selected as one of only a handful of cities to be able to participate live in a Shining Light Across America. This simulcast from Durham Bulls Athletic Park allowed youth and adults alike to be able to experience the closing show of the 2010 National Scout Jamboree. Our own council's return to our Heritage Centennial Camporee was held the weekend of October 8th. Over 4,500 Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, Venturers, family members, and volunteers were at the Occoneechee Scout Reservation for this historic event. 3 separate venues allowed us to maximize the use of our property so as to provide an exciting program for Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, and Venture Crews. A closing campfire including laser light show for the Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts and a late into the night luau for the Venturers closed down the events. These centennial events did not minimize the need for our regular programs. In 2009, as we prepared for Summer Camp 2010, we were cautious with our expectations. We wondered whether 2009 might have been an anomaly caused in part by the opening of the Grand Lodge. We were concerned that the 2010 National Scout Jamboree would impact our attendance. These concerns were unwarranted. 2010 attendance exceeded 2009 by over 8%. The feedback from both youth and adults was extremely positive, but we're going to endeavor to make additional improvements in communications, program, and facilities for 2011. As of January 13th, there were 1,615 pre-registered for this summer's camp. That is well ahead of where we were last year at the same time. One significant change for this summer has been the scheduling of an additional week. This week will include Cub events, Weeblos events, and our first ever offering for Venture Cruise. We also continued our promotion of a variety of North Carolina museum events. Our youth were offered fun and learning in events such as the Bug Fest, Reptile and Amphibian Day, Astronomy Days, and the American Indian Heritage Celebration. Occoneechee Lodge 104 of the Order Era had a strong year. Membership is up 10%. 17 of our members attended the National Leader Training, and our lodge won the Quest for the Golden Arrow at Conclave. Our lodge is one of the 20th largest in the U.S., and we were fortunate to have over 80 lodge members on our summer camp staff. Last year, the lodge completed over 3,000 hours of service to Occoneechee Scout Reservation. Now, if program is a tool we use to instill in our youth the values of the Scout Oath and Law, then advancement is one of the measures of our success. With advancement as our benchmark, I am pleased to tell you that 2010 was yet another record success. One of the council organized events was Merit Badge University, which is held in conjunction with NC State. Last year, 309 Scouts attended our university, which was staffed by 75 volunteers. Just last week, we took time to recognize those earning our highest ranks. 435 of our youth earned the rank of Eagle Scout. 4 earned the Silver Award, our highest award in the Venture program. And we have 1 recipient of our Sea Scouts' highest rank, that of Quartermaster. Even without the Centennial Celebration, 2011 will be busy. We've got Summer Camp, the World Jamboree, District Camporees, preparations for the first Jamboree to be held at the Bechtel Summit, and our list goes on. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Graham Wilson, and it was my privilege this year to serve as Vice President of Marketing for the Occoneechee Council. And what an exciting year to be involved in marketing with the 100th anniversary of Scouting and also the National Jamboree. Among our goals this year were to continue the work to turn ocscouts.org, the website of the Council, into a beta version of scouting.org. And one of our goals that we're still working on is to make it more of a resource, not only for Scouters and for volunteers, but also use it as a marketing tool for parents and youth who might be interested in learning more about Scouting or maybe volunteering in Scouting. Another one of our goals was to have a fully staffed district marketing committee. We're still lacking a couple of marketing representatives from a couple of districts, but we feel like this year in 2011 we'll be able to fill that marketing committee out completely and get all of our districts involved in our marketing efforts. Of course, a big goal nationally and here in the Council is a more widespread use of social media. That's where a lot of the youth and a lot of folks in our area are now getting their information. So it was a big topic at the national meeting in May. And a lot of the things that we've done here in the Council will help us achieve that. Number one, we have now set up an Occoneechee Council page on Facebook, as well as set up a Camp Durant page on Facebook, which we are maintaining. Second, we have set up a group on the LinkedIn site for Scouters and other volunteers to use that as a resource for information or discussion. Then the last thing we did, we actually set up an Occoneechee Council channel on YouTube. And we will be posting videos of council activities and things that the council are going on the YouTube channel so that youth and volunteers as well as all interested parties can see exactly what's going on in the Occoneechee Council. Of course, the big thing this year was the 100th anniversary, and we used that as a springboard to really expand our media coverage of Scouting here in the Occoneechee Council. We got great news coverage from the report to the governor back in February here in Raleigh, and made front page of the paper and got considerable television coverage. And we were also able to get coverage of our participation in the National Jamboree, as well as expanding our distribution to all of the media within all the counties that make up the council, as far as sharing the good news of the council. Silver Beaver Awards, new merit badges, other bragging things that we had going on in the council. We try to get that word out as far as council activities. Finally, we're looking to continue a lot of these things into 2011. We want to continue to build on what we did in 2010 and continue to spread the good news about what's happening with scouting and what's happening specifically here with the Occoneechee Council. Again, it's been my privilege to serve, and I'm looking forward to a productive 2011.
Good evening. My name is Nick Long, and I've had the privilege of serving as a Vice President for District Operations for the Council for this year. District Operations assists the districts in providing 4 core areas of support to units in the Council. I would not have been nearly as successful this year if it had not been for the assistance I received from my key 3. And I'd like to publicly recognize Susie Slopek, Assistant Council Commissioner for District Operations, and John Ferris, Director of Field Service and the number 2 professional in our council. They have provided a great deal of assistance to me, and I'm very grateful to them. Boy Scouts have identified 4 areas that districts provide assistance to their units. Those areas are program, finance, membership, and commissioner service. And we've had a great year in all 4 of those areas in Occoneechee Council. In finance, we've made the budget and ended the year with a surplus. 6 of our districts met their FOS goal, and we made more money from popcorn sales than we ever have before. In membership, we had positive growth for each of the 12 months of the calendar year. We met and exceeded our goal as a council, and 8 of our districts met their membership goals. In addition, we made our goal for new unit development and have a great base for next year. In program, one of the measures of program success ties in with membership, and that is retention. We had nearly 75% of the youth who were enrolled in the scouting program renew their membership. And that shows both that we are providing the services people want and that we have great programming. Among the programming that we provided training for the district chairs, a fast start for new district chairs, a district committee workshop for all of the operating committees of the districts, and a district key 3 retreat, which allowed the district commissioner, the district chair, and the district executive to come together to discuss best practices and solve problems. In addition, we had one of the more successful years we have ever had. We've camped more boys at camp than we ever did before. We had some wonderful Cub Scout day camp experiences, and no review of the year would be complete without consideration of the great job we did in recognizing the 100th anniversary of Boy Scouting. Finally, commissioner service. We have more registered commissioners than we ever have before. The success that the districts have are directly a result of the kind of service they get from their unit and district commissioners. The final measure of our success is the success of the districts. We have a program that reviews each district's performance, and those that meet or exceed their goals for the year receive Centennial Quality Recognition. I know that several of our districts met that goal, but at the time we tape this, I don't know who they are. So at this time, I'd like to call on Doyle Parrish and Susan Long to come forward and join me in recognizing those district key 3s who have met their Centennial Quality goals and will be recognized as Centennial Quality districts.